Rhode Island Bridge and Turnpike Authority will now come to order. First item is public comment. Anyone? Hearing none? Next is the approval of the minutes of the meeting which was held on August 21st, 2024. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Karen, seconded by Peter. Discussion. Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, the ayes have it. Next is the discussion of ATMS maintenance task order.
I'll take that. One, Parsons has submitted a task order to provide continued support for RIPA's ATMS system, including maintenance and repairs for continued proper operation. The ATMS system is what we run all of our VMS signs on and all of the other electronic units that are on the bridges. We have our cameras in Genetec. It's not really part of ATMS, but it's basically the platform that runs all the automated traffic systems. RIPA staff will request scope and fee for any assignments through this task order on an as-needed basis, which will be subject to advance approval by RIPA staff based on the hourly rate schedule included in the task order and actual costs for any required equipment and materials.
I just have a recommendation. Should we assign a dollar value, a not to exceed dollar value for that?
Yeah, we can. So we took a look at what we budgeted this year. We budgeted $30,000 as a maximum for this year for that for these services. So we could amend this if you wanted to attach a maximum to the task force.
If a motion's made, the main maker of the motion could amend it to say not to exceed the whatever, the 30,000.
Okay, I make that motion.
We have the motion, we have a second. Discussion. Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, the ayes have it. Thank you, Peter. Thank you, Eric. Next item on the agenda is Newport Pell Infrastructure Projects, Task Order 2, pre-authorization amount.
Yep.
Eric?
RIPA staff requested HDR, the program manager for the Newport Pell Infra Grant Project Bundle, to prepare Task Order 2 and its fee for future scope of work on the Infra Grant Project Bundle. Task Order 2 will be a sizable scope of work. The development of and negotiation of this is currently in progress. In April of 24, the Board of Directors approved Task Order 1 in the amount not to exceed $63,264.47 for initial tasks, including assistance with consultant selection and review of federal grant documents and other RIPA documents pertinent to the project. Work identified in Task Order 1 has now been completed, and we would like to keep HDR working on this project bundle during the development of Task Order 2. HDR can continue to coordinate design scoping meetings, review and negotiate task orders with the selected design consultants, develop an overall program schedule, and perform other general administration and coordination. RIPA staff is requesting pre-authorization up to $150,000 for HDR to continue program management tasks during the development and negotiation of Task Order 2. The final version of Task Order 2 will be brought before the Board of Directors for approval and will include the pre-authorized work.
Peter?
I think this makes a lot of sense because it keeps everybody working, and we know that the dollar value will ultimately be considerably more than that. But the main thing is to keep everything moving on these grants in a positive fashion without any pause in between.
Okay. So we have a motion made by Peter, seconded by Darrell and Karen. Discussion. Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, the ayes have it. Thank you, Eric.
Thank you.
Let's see, purchase of maintenance vehicle.
The RIPA maintenance truck fleet includes a 2018 Ford F-150 that is utilized as an on-call response vehicle. The vehicle has approximately 114,000, probably has more now since I wrote this memo. Operationally, the vehicle has been problematic because it's only an extended cab version, which are the small extensions behind the doors, so you really can't fit 4 people in it. You can put small children about, that's about it in the back. RIPA staff has obtained a trade-in value price quote of approximately $11,500. A suitable replacement vehicle was priced through pre-approved state master list at a cost of approximately $50,000. However, research of local dealer inventory showed several 24 models of the same replacement vehicle available at costs advertised below $46,000. State procurement rules do not allow direct purchase, so RIPA staff issued a public invitation for bid, including outreach notifications to several dealerships. The vehicle specified was a 2024 or 2025 new white Chevy Silverado 1500 crew cab, four-wheel drive work truck with a spray and bed liner. On August 30th, 24, RIPA received a bid price from Colonial South Chevrolet of $45,940, and on September 6, 24, from Legacy Brothers Incorporated of $58,395. RIPA staff recommend approval of a purchase order in the amount of $32,124, which includes trade-in value and rebates with Colonial South Chevrolet for the purchase of a 24 Chevy 1500 crew cab work truck.
They were both bidding on the same vehicle with all the same specs, and there's that much of a spread.
Yeah.
Wow. There you go. Questions? Discussion? Do I have a motion? Motion by Karen, second by Darrell. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, the ayes have it. Thank you, Eric.
Thank you.
Next, 2024 audited financial statements. Jeff.
Eric can take this if he wants. No? Okay.
Did you say Eric or Erica?
Yeah, I know. First of all, I'd like to introduce Erica Alobri. She is a partner with Markham, and she will be presenting the 2024 audit results. Before I turn it over to Erica, I do want to let you know that I did sneak into your board package an updated draft. None of the numbers changed, but there were just some wording, some formatting changes, and we still have some further tweaks to do that as well, but we're just waiting for all comments to be finalized before we put those final changes in. So I just want to make sure that you know that. So with that, Erica, I'd like to go ahead and turn it over. There should be.
Thank you everyone for having me, and I have a little PowerPoint slide deck which I'll take you through, and if you have any questions as we go through, we can address them. So I want to thank you all for having us this year. Thanks to Jeff and Tony and the team for getting us through this smoothly. Obviously, you doing your part throughout the year helps this go a lot smoothly at the end of the year. And I will say, this is one of the smoothest agencies, so that's something to be proud of. So I'm going to go through the draft financial statements for the June 30th, 2024 period. We'll go through the audit results and the required communications that I need to discuss with you. And then the required completion procedures and timeline to issuance, which we're right on track for 9:30. Do you guys have the deck? Okay. So just so you guys know, in audit, we are hiring us to express an opinion that the financial statements are fairly presented in accordance with U.S. generally accepted accounting principles. Again, this is really based on sampling. We don't test 100% of the transactions throughout the year. So during the course of an audit, we're looking at the controls within the organization. We're interviewing various members of the organization. We're really focusing on the significant transaction areas. Obviously, with capital purchases and revenue streams that come in here, that's a large focus that we spend a lot of time on during the year. We also do a report that's required by government auditing standards. You do have a small amount of federal money that came in this year. It didn't require a single audit, which is another level of auditing. So I think going down the line, if you get more federal money, you may reach that level and have that separate compliance audit. And again, that's driven by the state levels. They have to come up with the component amount, and if you fall under that level to get that major program test. So again, we're not auditing the internal controls. We are using them to design all of our substantive testing. So we're looking at different key controls that you have on those significant areas, and then really coming up with our procedures to test those balances at the end of the year. A lot of the procedures could rely on confirmations from third parties, detailed testing of the revenue transactions, looking at cash receipts and the disbursements that go out. So there's various tests that go into that. The end result is you do have a clean, unmodified opinion, so that's good. No material weaknesses or significant deficiencies to disclose, so that was also very good. During the audit, we also looked at fraud risk assessment. So we also interviewed members of the organization relating to fraud. They're aware of anything, if they think the controls are adequate in designed and operating effectively to catch fraud. From those interviews, there was nothing that resulted that we should disclose to you that was something of concern. We also look at general journal entries during the audit. You know, we pull a sample of those based on our review of the transactions. We test those journal entries, look at the support, making sure they're reviewed and approved. So those are some of the tests that we perform as well. During an audit, there's always significant risks that we identify. Management override is always a significant risk in any organization because you can make general journal entries and manipulate any type of account that's and then improper revenue recognition is something we also focus on. So those are just some things we just like to bring to your eyes. You know, they're in the engagement letter when we sign the engagement letter, but we also like to disclose it at the end of the audit. It's nothing unusual with the organization. It's just something that we have, and we design our tests around that. So from the financial statement review, on the next slide we'll go over, so new GASBs coming down the pipe just to be aware of. So there's 3 new GASBs that'll be introduced, 2 coming into play for 25, which is next year. One on compensated absences, and then there's one on risk disclosure for the authority. Again, we'll look at those during the year to see the effect on the financial statements. Nothing significant is determined to affect. It may be disclosure-related items, so that can be the impact. The GASB 103 is the financial reporting module, so there is still discussion on the improvements there. There could be changes in how the financials are reported, so that's not coming into play until June 26th. So GASB always has to keep us on our toes for new stuff that's coming. So the next item here, we'll just go over the statement of financial position. So as of June 30th, 2024, your total assets are about $384 million, versus last year they were about $370 million. Big jump in investments, which is good, so there's an increase in investments there. Liabilities coming down, so paying the bond as it's coming due, so that's a good thing there. Your total net position increased about $21.4 million, so you're at $180.3 million as of 6/30/24, versus last year it was $159 million. The next slide, we're going to go over the operating results and the cash flow analysis. So when you look at the operating revenues this year, you're up about $1.7 million, largely due to the increase in the total revenue. So you did have increased traffic, which is good. There was a slight decrease in the gas tax, nothing significant, but it was slightly off from last year. Operating expenses are up about $300,000, largely due to personnel expenses increasing there. So overall, your operating income is up about $1.4 million, so it's about $20.3 million as of June 30, 2024. That non-operating income category shows expense of about $1 million. So within that category, there's a lot of things that are net in there. There's interest expense, there's grant revenue, so there's also investment income that nets into that expense of $1.1 million. So overall, your change in net position is an increase of $21.5 million. So that's overall very good. Last year, it was about $15.6 million. So great job there. Now cash, just looking at the cash activity, overall operations is generating $35 million this year. Last year it was about $30 million. Used in capital, we're using $28 million. Last year we used about $18 million. And then also net cash use in investing is down a little bit from last year, about $10 million. So that's overall the results of the financial statements. In your financial statements, there is a lot of information. The notes give you a lot of background on how the information is built and reported under generally accepted accounting principles. There's a management discussion and analysis in here that really walks you through the results of the year and talks about the activity that happened. So that's a good go-to for you kind of just to get a snapshot of what happened during the year. And then also in the front of the audit report is our report, which is that clean opinion. In the back of it, you'll see the government auditing standards report, which is obviously no material weaknesses, no significant deficiencies as a result of it. So now I'll just take you through the required communications. So it really just talks about our responsibilities under generally accepted accounting principles, and then at the end of the audit, you get a final letter to the board, and it'll just have all this information. We don't opine on internal control effectiveness. We're doing reasonable assurance based on our test of transactions from the client information. There were no changes in significant accounting policies this year. During the audit, there were no disagreements with management. Everything went very smoothly. When we requested items, we got them uploaded, so there was no problem there. And on the next slide here, so we're not aware of any fraud, irregularities, or illegal acts during the course of the audit. And again, we want to make sure that we're independent when we're doing this audit. So in our judgment, we are independent with the authority. So we want to make sure we stay in accordance with professional standards there. And then the management will sign a representation letter once we're ready to issue, and that will be the date of your report and then the date of the final. To our knowledge, there's no consultation on how things are reported in the financial statement. So if Jeff went to another firm and said, okay, well, they told me I could report it like this, we'd have to let you know. There was no opinion shopping from that type of thing. And then we also like to know, when we look at the financials, there are a lot of estimates built into them. So the electronic toll liability, it's an estimate that's in the financials and it's fully disclosed in there. The allowance for doubtful accounts, so that's something that management looks at and analyzes, make sure that's like adequate for the year end. The useful life of fixed assets, that's another significant estimate there. We also spend a lot of time on the violation revenue. So this year, I know over the past 4 years, that revenue has significantly grown because now we're doing the mail out and we're getting a lot of cash. So that is revenue that is recognized as the cash comes in, and the receivable is offset by an allowance. So that is put into your financial statement notes as well. And that revenue is growing over the course of the last 4 or 5 years. And that is the actual communications to you all. Now the next step is the road to issuance. We have been through state approval, so they have given the comments. We're kind of cleaning that up. We gave them a new draft back, and I know Jeff is working on some items. We're through our quality control, so I think it's just board approval. Once we get the final okay from the state and we're all good with the draft, we will be able to send the representation in and finalize that.
Thank you, Erica. Now, do we need, is there any action needed by the board at this time?
I would think that CFO will help me here, that we're substantially there and we could take a vote to authorize finalization of the audit in substantially similar condition as presented.
Okay. Well, so they wouldn't have to come back with a...
As long as there's not a material change, right, to the...
To what's been presented
Right.
today?
Yep.
Okay, do I have a motion? Second. Motion, second, and discussion. Hearing none. You have a question, Peter?
Well, this is more just about the future. With more federal grants obviously coming down the road, are we in a position, are we ready to handle the dealing with the federal government and agreements and all of that? Are we in good shape with it?
Yep, Infor is locked down. We've already submitted our invoices to the Delphi system. We were reimbursed at 60%. It's a 60-40 grant. They paid us within 5 business days.
Really?
Yep. I did send.
This is the same federal government that I'm...
I was shocked, pleasantly shocked.
Yeah.
So we've got that process nailed down. Right now, we have submitted the Protect grant agreement. We submitted that to FHWA about 6 weeks ago. And then I followed up with them the other day and asked them for the status. So we should be moving forward. They're trying as hard as they can to push out all these grants. I think that whole organization is stressed because there's so much
That's kind of the
money
nature
coming
of my
out.
question, yeah.
And
Yeah.
every single grant is different. Infor is different to Protect. It's not the same. and they're struggling. So it's taking them a
They
long
use
time.
federal government.
Yeah, they're struggling turning around grant agreements.
Yeah, yeah, we've got a few in Newport that we're dealing with now, and getting the agreement is the issue.
Yep, and we're all set on the earmark for Mount Hope. We are sub-recipient. And Eric and I have been working with RIDOC to provide them some information because it is we are a sub-recipient. We have to go through a lot more hoops with RIDOC than we do with the infra grant, which is directly with us. Yeah. Yep, so everything has to go to them for review and approval, as opposed to infra, it's all on us.
Yeah. My question was pretty much general nature, that we have the capability to deal with all the grants and all the
Yeah.
associated work that needs to be done.
Yep.
All right, good.
Okay, further questions, discussion? We have a motion, it's been seconded. Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you, Erica. Thank you, Jeff.
everyone.
Good job, Noel.
Nice job by everyone. Next, capital projects.
Yeah, I'll take that one. Phase 2 AET construction continues out the windows here. You can see we're working towards getting the highway realignment finalized. And then once we get the traffic all shifted, we'll be able to start to demolish the rest of the toll booths. And we already took the old gantry down. That's going on there. Cable and anchorage dehumidification for Mount Hope Bridge is still in final design. We're kind of we're working along with trying to get the Protect grant agreement finalized, because we can't go out to do any construction work until we get that federal grant finalized. So we're going to ask Federal Highway, if this keeps lagging at all, we're going to ask them if they'll allow us to go to just out to bid and then receive bids, and as long as we don't authorize work, they may allow us to do that. So if they do and we're ready, we'll be going out to bid shortly on that.
And the deal is there that they won't reimburse if you've already spent the money.
That's right.
Right,
That's right.
exactly.
And the Protect grant is going only towards the construction portion. We funded the design up front with basically our match that we have. I mean, we have a total of 27 towards the project that's, in the high 30s. So as long as we don't do any construction work, we're good.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Good.
So we're towing that line right now with Federal Highway. Chip seal for Mount Hope Bridge is out to bid right now. I should be bringing that bid to the board for the next board meeting. Yeah, next Wednesday, right? That's the due date. Compression link phase 1 work, I'm going to be dropping this line item off. We completed our purchase and rental agreements with Aetna for the equipment that's installed out there, the scaffolding and the platform, which the board already approved. So we'll be crossing this one off once we get the final invoice on that. Phase 2 design and construction support services with WSP is ongoing. The design is complete, but the construction support services is where we are right now, since we have the bids in hand. And speaking of the construction of this, we already had a pre-construction meeting with Mohawk last week, and that went very well. They're working on ordering materials to get them fabricated. There'll be a long lead time on getting all the materials, so you won't see any work happening for a while out there, but in the background, they're trying to get everything in place. Once all the materials get here, that's when they'll actually go out on the bridge and get this thing replaced. We have a 62-hour window for them to take a lane on the bridge nonstop, day and night, and they have a 62-hour period to work around the clock to get this thing fixed. So there will be a period of time where we have the lane shut down up there. I don't know if they'll plan it for a weekend, maybe. We had some discussions on how they're going to schedule that lane tape, but they will need it because they'll need a crane up there that has to be up there the whole time during the installation of it.
But that
Yeah.
likely to be during the cold weather, during the
Yeah.
winter months, not during the summer.
It'll
It's gonna
be,
sometime soon.
so we had a completion date of December in the schedule. I think it was December 20th was the completion date in there. But, we don't know what's gonna happen with the ordering of the material. That's the one wild card that we have to deal with. So if it takes a while for the materials to get fabricated, then, we'll follow the weather and see what happens. I mean, we typically have decent weather until lately. We've got almost for the last 5 years or so, till about the 3rd week of January. That's been the trend, so we'll see. It will be weather dependent though, so we could potentially be out there then doing it. The Infra Grant project bundle, I spoke about that earlier. We finished the first task order with HDR. We're going to proceed with task order 2 work. We will be scheduling design scoping meetings with all the design consultants next to get the work underway. The deck project will be the first one out of the gate. Steel repairs and joint replacement design for Fishing Pier Access Road Bridge and Jamestown Bridge. We had a scoping meeting with GM2, so that design will be ongoing now. New roof solar HVAC design with AI engineers is in process. They were actually here yesterday doing a survey of the building inside for the HVAC portion. Safety measures feasibility study is complete for the Mountain Bridge in Jamestown still. I keep that on here only because we have it open in case something happens. The other study for Newport and Secana River Bridge is on schedule. We had a meeting with Atkins last week, and we'll be starting the inspection of Mountain Bridge shortly. That's it. Oh yeah, Newport Center Span, that's right. The phase 2 of Newport. We'll also start.
Great. Thank you. Questions? Next, the executive director's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So as you've heard Erica Olobri say, we have increased traffic and revenue here. With that additional revenue, we have additional responsibilities in terms of customer service. So we are looking at customer service initiatives. We're looking at every way that we can increase our availability and our responsiveness to our customers. One of the things that we are going to do is our tolling department, Katie and Jamie, have made the decision that we will proceed next week with 2 full weeks of having our walk-in center open 9 to 4, Monday through Friday. Hopefully we will be able to continue that. We have a staff we have a building that has no more seats left for additional employees, so we're working with that challenge. We're looking for all different ways. We've improved our phone system. It still needs some work so that customers have a good experience when they call us. They still have the ability to go to AAA, and then they can do their business online, on the phone, and as I say, with increased hours here, and we'll see how that works. So right now, as you know, we're only open, well, I shouldn't say only, because everyone's working all day long, but for customers coming in here, that the days have been Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 9 to 1. So it will be nice to give customers those additional hours. Even while we have only had 9 to 1, we have had a policy that no customer, if we can help it, no customer goes away unserved. So if we see someone in the parking lot, we go out, we try to help, and we've had success with that also.
Have you gotten the word out in newspapers, television, radio, whatever, that this is going to happen?
We have posted it on our website. We are going to do a somewhat of a soft opening for these so that we are not inundated and see how things go. So it's going to be, we have posted it. Our doors indicate that next week and the week after, we will have 9 to 4, Monday through Friday. Hopefully, as I say, we will be able to extend that, but we're going to do some limited advertising of next week and the week after. We probably will.
I would get it out there because I think that'll help alleviate, I'm sorry. When I leave here, I just go up by the front and I see people all over the place.
You do.
So hopefully that'll.
Yep. We're also doing something that's kind of exciting, which is that I keep saying we're taking Easy Pass to the people instead of making the people come here. So we have been scheduling pop-ups, and our new HR manager has been reaching out to various schools, to all the schools, to the Navy, and we have a number of pop-ups scheduled where we're going to go out, and we've already started these. Often right around this time of year, we have people from the Navy who are not only opening accounts, but some of them are closing accounts because they're being transferred elsewhere. And then, you have the people that just want to do some transactions, change a vehicle on the account, get another transponder, all the other things they need to do. So these pop-ups, after the zip codes where we have the least saturation of transponders are right around here, which really isn't it seems odd, but but it's also the people who use our bridge the most. So the zip codes around here, and then also the zip codes around Providence. So we'd like to head north. We'd like to head upstate and do some pop-ups up there as well to bring Easy Pass upstate, so that we can cut down on the number of plates we are reading by eyeballing them and sending out bills. So also our back office system is going live. That has more features that will be customer friendly, and so we're hoping that our customer service, we're always looking to improve customer service. It is not easy. It is, and I'm looking down at Katie and Jamie, because it's on them to make it, to keep the employees, they're working as hard as they can. No one who calls here really is in a great mood, because they're usually calling because they owe us some money. So it's not easy for the customer service reps to respond, but we've got great staff, and hopefully all of these initiatives will pay off. The only other issue I wanted to raise is we continue to work on bridge security and safety, including hurricane preparedness. We did attend, I think last time we met, I was leaving here to head up with Steve Cahill upstate to East Providence, to the Coast Guard offices, where we attended a board of inquiry that was convened by the federal government to talk about critical infrastructure and what impact a crisis with that infrastructure would have on ports in the area. So it was very, very narrowly focused, and the Pell, not surprisingly, the Pell and the Mount Hope and Narragansett Bay very much were featured in the discussions, and will be followed by additional efforts by the Coast Guard, by REMA, but the Marine Pilots Association. The Army Corps of Engineers was there. Our partners from the area local law enforcement were there. I appreciated that Chief Cattell from North Kingstown spoke up and said, that after the Francis Scott Key Bridge incident, we had convened a meeting here of all the local law enforcement, state and local law enforcement and first response personnel, as well as REMA, the Pilots Association, Coast Guard. The Coast Guard came, and Chief Cattell said he found that to reinforce the plans we already have in place. He felt so much more comfortable when he left that meeting that it really did reinforce that we are prepared for the crises that could occur. We've also since attended the governor's hurricane preparedness meeting at REMA, and we're always prepared for that. It would not be our first rodeo if that happened again, and so we are prepared, and hoping, of course, that our preparedness doesn't require that we step up. But if it does, we'll be here. The rollout cots are right in the closet, right outside the door here, and we'll spend time here.
Okay.
And next meeting is October 16th.
Thank you, Laurie.
Thank you.
Next is executive session. Are we going into executive session today? We are.
Do you want me to kick it off, Chairman?
Yes, please.
Ask the board to make a motion to convene an executive session pursuant to 42465A1, the executive director's job performance, in accordance with the Transparency Act. And just for the record, before we get a motion in a second, director has been notified of her right to have the session conducted in an open session and has not so elected. So we can proceed. Thanks.
Okay. You have a motion, seconded.
And that is a roll call, please, Chairman.
Karen?
Aye.
Darrell? Aye. Peter?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. We're in executive session.
Okay.